Hey everybody, welcome to another Pro SC2 cast done by yours truly, Mathis StarCraft. This is going to be a 1v1 on one of my favorite maps, Belshire Beach, not only for its aesthetic, but for the way the map is laid out, and I'm going to get to that in a minute. Let me introduce my players first. In the bottom right hand corner, we're going to have our pink Protoss, CakeBlackson. Honestly, off the top of my head, I have no idea who this is, but the opponent in the top left-hand corner is going to be a purple Protoss, vVvRocker. This is going to be a Protoss versus Protoss, a best of 3, I'm almost positive. This is going to be for some clan match. I apologize, I'm coughing in the mic there. So nothing spectacular, no prize money behind or anything, just bragging rights and whatnot. Now, I'm going to apologize right off the bat because these guys are extremely similar color. I'm noticing purple and pink. So if I screw something up ahead of time, I'm apologizing. Like if I say one person has more workers than the other or whatever, it's merely because these colors are so close, and it's really going to throw me off. Either way, I've been told these are phenomenal PvP games. I am not one who typically enjoys Protoss versus Protoss because it ends up being this 4-gate versus 4-gate fanaticism, and I'm just not a huge fan of watching it. But I've been told by the people who provided me these replays, who were actually there and got to watch it live, they said that these games are great. They're epic PvP, so I'm looking forward to seeing how they turn out. So let's get into the map a little bit. Belshire Beach. This is a good map. Again, I like the aesthetic. It's nice. It's green, blue. It's got great beachy like colors. But let's get into more nitty-gritty about it. What I like about it is the way it's laid out. And I say that because of how difficult it is to maintain a secure third for almost any race. Now, as you can see, this is the main right here, and if we scooch on down here, the natural is actually very close and pretty easy to defend. The main is completely blocked off. You have to go through the natural first to get to the main. The natural itself has one ramp as well, so it's actually it's a wide ramp, so it's almost impossible to wall off. But you do have this choke right here that if you really absolutely feel like you need to wall off, say if good old vVvRocker over here was CakeBlackson, nope, vVvRocker, that's the scout, decided he was playing against a Zerg, he may want to throw down a gateway and a cyber core, and he can block it off right over here. Now, like I said, it's got a big wide ramp right here, but the third base, you pretty much have two choices. You can go loop all the way around here to the third, where it's freaking wide open. It has a huge wide open gap here. It has this giant wide open gap here where really it's easy to kind of attack here. You can form a nice concave and push in on both ends and shut this down. Or you can scooch on down here, which is a similar walk, but even more wide open is the gold. I love that this gold is pretty much just open to nature. It's really prone to attack, so if you're going to get this, you need to make sure you are 100% able to defend this easily. So I like that a lot. I like that this gold is kind of wide open like that. The other thing I like about this map is the only time you ever see creep underwater. So hopefully one day we'll get to do a cast and I'll get to show you some Zerg creep underwater. As exciting as that may be. Now it does... Holy crap. Okay, it does look like as CakeBlackson is doing a gas steal here, which is actually preventing particular tech paths from being taken right off the bat. It's almost forcing... it's not forcing, but it actually makes it easier for vVvRocker here to 4-gate. And it looks like exactly what he's going to do. He is going to drop down the 4-gate. And down here, it does look like we have CakeBlackson going to be doing just a 2-gate, just chrono boosting out some units and just trying to do a quick early rush. We do have a stalker over here. It does look like we had a little engagement over here. And that is going to be just kind of scouting up there and dropping a proxy pylon on the end over here. And he looks like vVvRocker is going to move out here for that 4-gate attack. It's going to be 3-gate, rather 2-gate, and going into, I would suggest rather going into a 3-gate. There we go. Because against a 4-gate, and again, taking this gas as essentially forced. Force is a rough word, but almost guarantees that Rocker is going to 4-gate. It is pretty much saying, you know what, Rocker, I really want you to 4-gate. It makes you predictable in the early game. I pretty much can handle you 4-gating me, so go ahead and do it. That's why I'm going to gas steal. But it does look like that, though he did do that initial 4-gate a little bit later than usual. He is going to take out that scouting pro, by the way, who did see that. He is actually going to go straight for an expansion. Dropping those 4-gates, going to use the units purely for defense and actually move into an expansion. And while good old CakeBlackson over here is fully expecting a 4-gate, as you can see, he does not know that expansion is there. He has no idea. He pretty much is waiting for the defense, and while he's waiting here, Rocker himself is going to say, screw it, I'm going to expand, while he's prepping for an attack that's not coming, and I love that. He is checking for proxy pylons, as you can see, scouting all over his natural with with that, and he's going to be dropping a Robo Blade, so 3-gate Robo, very, very typical opening, and he's going to find nothing. And now CakeBlackson, I apologize for yawning, by the way, guys, it's been a very, very long week, as always. Now, as you can see, he's kind of poking around, it's not seeing anything, so he's going to warp in some units here, and the push is going to come too late. The problem is he's going to have his economy up and running, he's going to be able to support all 4 gates, and he can't do anything about it. With this, though, he has seen the probe transfer. With this here, it has basically shown him there's a probe transfer going on, and he's got this natural up and running, particularly unit counting station. vVvRocker is just about 1 behind in the worker station, but his miners are being more efficient by being on 2 bases. And now we do look like it has CakeBlackson, whatever is Cake, we're going to call him Cake, is moving out to see what's going on. He's got to pick out that proxy pilot and move on back. And yeah, I apologize again, I yawned. Either way, it does look like he himself is gonna, you know, I would suggest, I'm curious what going through Cake's mind right now. He knows the 4-gate's not coming. It's too late for the 4-gate. However late it is, it's gonna be. He would have the forces to hold it and even crush it if it was a 4-gate at this point. So what is going through his mind? He's got to know the expansion's up, so he's gonna throw a scouting zealot at this, see what's up there. Those 2 sentries are gonna ward him off. Doesn't really want to push it up with his forces. Have them cut in half and basically picked off. See force field going down, just narrowing that choke just a little bit. So Cake's kind of idea now right now is just to kind of move up and see what he can see. He does have an observer coming down. He is dropping his expansion and trying to catch up as far as workers go, but as you can see, it looks like good old Rocker is going to be taking a slow and steady lead in that worker counting station, and this could actually really help him. It's obviously going to hinder Cake. Again, expecting a 4-gate, kind of was a feigned 4-gate. He did scout a 4-gate with that probe. He did see it going down, but completely mind-tricked and going straight for the expansion. And now we're kind of at a stalemate, not quite sure what to do. Cake doesn't want to move out, but neither does Rocker. He doesn't want to lose all these guys, and they're kind of both just going back and forth, and it does look like maybe Cake's going to try and do a little bit of a pushing, but the force fields are going to completely prevent it from doing, and I like the Immortal. The Immortal coming out is essentially the pure counter to any Stalker army. The Immortal could take out so many units, and if you don't believe me, check out the unit, what do you call it, the unit encyclopedia the game provides. It says, very good versus Stalkers, in case you were not aware. So now Cake has to back up. That Immortal can really turn the tide of battles. The army are pretty much equal size as it is. Rocker a bit ahead in the food because of all those probes. But because the armies are of equal size, that Immortal pretty much is a deciding factor in who would win that battle. And we do have more Immortals coming out. Now, the smarter tech choice, I would say, for Cake would to be potentially attempt an Immortal Colossus army as well. If he's not feeling particularly confident, drop down a Stargate, get some Void Rays or even some Phoenixes and pick those Immortals up and take them out of the army equation because it's such a gas intensive thing. Now we got force fields going down, but I would say that Rockers are a bit better, and it is going to force Cake to back off. But luckily, all force fields are kind of working against him chasing, so he's going to be able to just chase a little bit. Going to maybe pick off that probe there. Yes, there goes the probe, and Cake is going to be forced to head on home. Oh, I need to get those yawns out of me. It's like that yawn that just won't end. Like I keep feeling like I got a yawn, and it won't come. I keep going silent because I want to just get it. I feel like if I get one good yawn, I'll be very happy. Now Cake over here, gonna have to huddle at home. Gonna try and play catch up as far as workers cost. But as you can see, Rocker is over. He's approximately 13 workers ahead, and that is huge. The one thing that Cake does has is he has this pylon up here still, and with this pylon he can send in some ninjas. He could send in some ninja zealots or whatever, what have you. Maybe in Dark Templar if he wanted to, since there are no cannons and the only detector is an observer that's not there. But it does look like he's got to blink on up with the observer on the high ground. He's gonna move in and try to do some massive damage. He needs to focus those workers, but no, he's gonna just move apparently and just attack random things. Focusing on the pylons. I don't know why he's not focusing any workers there. And now the Colossus and the Immortal are going to easily run him out. And here he goes, and good blink on the escape down towards the gold. But the gold minnows are actually going to do a huge amount of damage to him. He's got to file out one by one, so losing even more Stalkers. His army taking a big hit right there. And unfortunately, that did not go well for Cake at all. I'm curious why he decided to focus on those pylons. I really think he should have focused on the workers, at least trying to even up the worker count, but no, instead decided he wanted to try and supply block his enemy, but did not work at all. As you can see, it does look like we have High Templar heading down as well for Cake. Probably going to be making those into Archons. I don't see how High Templar are going to really work against an Immortal Colossus Stalker army. So High Templar definitely going to be on the field to hopefully buff up that army. I do like the choices to go in the Archon. Archon's going to be very, very powerful and kind of really help wipe out a lot of the excuse me, a lot of the oppression that's kind of coming from the opposing enemy. And now Rocker going to move in and just going to kind of mac her up. He has the ability to mac her up. I like the fact that Cake is actually going to try to take an early third, trying to push ahead in the macro just a bit. He desperately needs his economy to take the extra bump. But right now Cake is looking a little bit hurt. He's a little worse for wear right now, and Rocker almost kind of running away with the game. The food count completely in favor of Rocker. The Colossus, the Stalkers, the army is just a phenomenal mix for an army. Like I said, the Archons are good, but I almost feel like it's an emergency response for Cake. He's kind of just throwing him into the army because he desperately needs to do some damage. As you can see, the High Templar are warping it. Let's see what they tend to do. There we go. That was actually a good yawn there. And there we go. Now we are going to have Archons. So yes, the Archons are going to be joining to beef up the army. It looks like this army is going to split. Half of it is going to head into the natural. I think it's going to catch those Archons completely out of position here. Is he going to do any damage? I don't think so. Whoa, why is he only going with half of his army? A little fraction of his army. The other fraction is actually getting completely caught out of position, and this could be really it for Cake. This could turn it around for him, completely catching his army into one-third, essentially. This third is going to be taken down, the Colossus going down, all the Immortals going down, but actually looks like his army took a rather large hit there as well because of all the Immortals that he caught up there, but still he did a good chunk of damage, and now Cake has to move on back, and the other rest of it, actually, the army that Rocker left back here actually joined the rest of his army. And is he going to lose this Archon? I wouldn't be surprised, as once they lose their shields, they have 10 life, and really, that's a whole lot of nothing. It does look like he's going to have to push on back, and those Archons are going to go down. No, they are not. But Rocker's saying, screw it, I'm going to push in anyway. I need to take this down and do some damage. And yes, he is going to do some damage, and it doesn't look like Cake is planning on taking those probes out of there. In fact, no, he's sending them to their doom as the Colossus just eats them up with his little hungry laser. He's going to be firing his laser, and it goes down. I can picture that face now. I'm going to fire my laser, and dead and dead and dead are the probes. And now Rocker is just going to kind of push on back. Damage is done. Cake is now completely supply blocked, 79 out of 76, and it looks like Cake was actually grabbing, that was his natural, so his third is going to be going down now as well. And I don't see Cake being able to come back from this. He's just going to pick off the probes. He can just A-move here and just hug that Nexus with all the loving tender care, and there it goes. And now Cake needs to do some damage, and it looks like he's going to attempt to engage his army one-on-one. But with force fields, all those Stalkers, and a good chunk of Immortals mixed in the army, Cake actually needs to back the hell out of there. And let's take a look at the unit counting station. Rocker, 59 probes. Cake looking at 13 probes. So actually going to head out of there. Rocker just going to back up, wait for the rest of his army. I wouldn't be surprised if he decides to even just like engage his army to weaken it and then fully attack with a fully replenished army, all Zerg style. As you can see, he can easily do that. Really wants to just whittle down the Stalkers, and actually with 3 Immortals mixed into the army, he can't really lose. I mean, yeah, the 2 Immortals here. But let's take a look at what's coming. Here come a punch of Immortals, Colossus, Stalkers, another Immortal, some Zealots, a bunch of Zealots just to empty all those minerals, and he still has a bunch of minerals sitting in the bank. So even if Cake does win this small battle, he will not win the war. He is going to have to push here. No, he is not. He's going to back out. Doesn't even have the minerals to expand. Really, at this point, GGing is one of the only options. I'm not quite sure what he plans to do. At the most, he could go for a base trade, but even so, Rocker has more. It's one of those situations where you just don't want to give up. And actually, there it is right there. But I know how he feels. You just don't want to give up. And he belongs to Cake. He belongs to Team IP, it looks like, with all the people leaving. And that is Stim. I know him. So it does look like Cake pulling out. You know, I understand the feeling of just not wanting to quit. You're so far behind, but you still feel like maybe, you know, and hold them, cross your fingers. But either way, good game on both of them. I will see them in game 2. That was actually an exciting PvP. I like the mind games that vVvRocker pulled with that faux 4 gate and going straight into an expand and taking an economic lead over Cake that really just dominated the rest of the game because of that. So thanks so much for watching, guys. I apologize for yawning. I hopefully won't be yawning next game. As I say yawn, I start to yawn. Also, I have another Project Zomboid series coming out soon because I really want to play that game as their new update comes up into the closer release. So keep an eye out for that. And I will see you guys next time. This is Matt the StarCraft signing out.